How does a penguin build its house? It glues it together.
Welcome to another Wednesday night. I am exempt from punishment this week since I endured the slime last week. This week we have some fun challenges. We have two dads here, and the name of the game
Immediately makes me feel old.
Dad Jokes. Here's the thing, if they so much as crack a smile, get water splash in their face. Cold ice water. Not only do they get water splashed in their face, each time they laugh or smile and they lose during these next several rounds, they gain a point. At the end, whoever has the most points gets to take the polar plunge in a giant trough of freezing ice water. How many gallons of frozen ice water do you say is that?
Too many.
Too many gallons. All right.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay.
I don't know,
so
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Even if
really.
I'm reading it and I
know, it
laugh.
doesn't matter.
Here's the thing, I get to call if they laughed or not, so I'm gonna be watching them very closely. If they so much as crack a smile, not
Can't
just
even
laugh,
smile?
you
I
can't
always
even
smile.
smile. You can't even smile.
I'm always smiling.
But I get to smile.
Give me a second. I gotta think about something sad.
Think about
All right, from here on out.
Why did the math book look so sad? Because of all of its problems.
All right, Tyler, your draw.
Why can't a nose be 12 inches long?
Yes! Come back for your punishment.
Oh no! Because then it would be a foot.
Oh man, that's cold!
Choose
I
choose
always
paper, Drew.
smile. Man, I should have done laughing. That is not fair. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
What?
Tyler. Tyler. All right, hold on. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
Just do it.
All right, this is the joke that broke Tyler. What time did the man go to the dentist? Tooth hurty.
How dumb is that?
Why don't eggs tell jokes? They would crack each other up.
Dad, can you put my shoes on? No, I don't think they'll fit me. That doesn't even make sense. Can you put my? That's not even a joke. That's just too.
That was one of my favorite ones, the stupid ones.
Okay. Wow.
All right.
That one was cold.
Drew,
How many have
we
we
have
done?
5 more.
What?
We have 5 more.
Today my son asked, "Can I have a bookmark?" And I burst into tears. 11 years old, and he still doesn't know my name is Ryan.
Okay, it's a draw. I'm calling it a draw. I'm gonna have mercy.
What do you call somebody with nobody or nose? Nobody knows.
Three more. The score is now 2-1. Drew.
How does a penguin build its house? It glues it together.
That's a good one.
He broke so hard.
Are they getting colder?
Tyler passes out.
So cold.
That's the last
Tyler's got the last one and is now 3-1. Tyler.
Dad, did you get a haircut? No, I got them all cut. Yes! Because I can't breathe. You get slapped up. Yes! Wow!
Oh, baby, on the chest, it's cold.
That was round one. Let's worship together and come back for round two.
All right, guys, welcome to Wednesday night worship. So a little something different. We're standing, so why don't you guys too, and we'll get going. Here we go. Why search the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures of faith are never enough. But then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. No, there's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, no, it's true. Why I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley, and there's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. No, there's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. No, there's nothing better than you. No, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. No, there's nothing better than you. No, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
Than the first one.
All right, you guys, we are now going into the last round, round 2. The scores are Tyler 3, Drew 2. It is anyone's game. Drew's up. Score.
Because I read the last one.
Score is 3-2. Drew's at bat.
What's funny? There's nothing funny. There's nothing funny. What did the buffalo say to his son when he dropped him off at school? Bye, son.
Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired.
How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles. 10 tickles.
Which state has the most streets? Rhode Island.
You guys, the energy in this room.
I made a pencil with 2 erasers. It was pointless.
Did you hear about the circus fire? What just happened? I just got a point. Boom! It was intense.
Oh.
Did you hear about that?
Wow!
They get colder every time.
Oh, 3-3, baby.
2 left for each player. The score is tied at 3-3. We're down to the wire
My
to
face
find out
No.
who's gonna take the ice bath. Drew,
Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, no atmosphere.
I don't trust stairs. What? Yes! 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 Yes!
That was cold in my teeth.
Yes!
I thought I would be better at this. Not.
All right.
I thought you were going to be real bad.
you're both
Oh.
not great.
4-3. Here we go.
4-3.
2 goldfish are in a tank. One says to the other, do you know how to drive this thing? The tank. Drive the tank. 'Cause it's a tank.
Tyler, that was almost the last.
What's the score?
It's 4. You lost.
Well,
Not yet.
hard to say.
I wouldn't buy anything with Velcro. It's a total ripoff.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes!
The final score.
Yes!
3-4. Drew lost by 1 laugh because Tyler is just that funny.
And I cannot read. That's why I won.
I'm not looking forward to this.
I am.
All right, you guys. That was the last and final round. Tyler with 3 points, Drew with 4, which means Drew's gonna have to face the cattle trough full of iced water. Make sure you stay tuned for that at the end of our services. We'll see you soon.
All right, so we're going to keep rolling with worship after Drew's stunning loss. That was horrific. So bad. But one of the things, we're wrapping up the love-hate. It really wasn't that bad. But it's going to be amazing what happens at the end. I got to see a little bit of preview. It is so good. I literally was just sitting here. We were trying to get into this, and I couldn't stop laughing because I kept thinking to it. You'll see it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do one more song together, and we're ending up our series on love-hate tonight. And it's an awesome story where you get to see just how the Father sees us. Right in the middle of our sin, right when we are at our worst, He chooses to see who we could become. He chooses to see past all the junk inside of our hearts. Even before we know Him, He knows what's going to happen, how He's been drawing us, when we're going to choose to follow Him, how He's going to transform us, how He's going to shape us more into the image of His Son. And that is the greatest thing ever. And it's not because we're great. It's not because there's lots of, like, God was lucky that He got me. I am so beyond blessed, and I still can't fathom why He chose me. And it's His goodness. And it's because He is so good that He calls us now. That's what He calls us, blessed. Even though during this time you may be looking at all the things that you don't have and things that you're missing out on and feeling all this, in that moment God still calls you blessed. Most of us have never had to worry about what our next meal is going to be, what's going to happen. We've had to worry about little inconveniences. And even with that, the beauty of the body of believers is we get to care for one another. We get to bless each other. Our extra can become enough for another person. We're called not because there's anything great in us, not because we're so self-righteous, but because He chooses to use the broken things, the little things, the forgotten people to carry out His works. We're healed. Even before we ever take a step to become healed and restored, He says, you're healed. Over everything that's ever happened, by His stripes we are healed. We're healed in our mind, in our hearts, in our bodies. Even if God takes us home, my dad, the way that God healed him was He took him home and He healed him completely. We're whole in Jesus because of what He has done, not because of anything in us, because He says, listen, I'm giving you my righteousness and I'm making you whole. Even with all the fraction and broken things, I'm saved. I'm saved in Jesus' name. I'm highly favored. When He sees me like His only Son that He loves so much, anointed. He has chosen me to go out and do His work. He's chosen you to carry His name. Filled with resurrection power. We've been talking about Rattle. It's an awesome song from Elevation Worship. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. But there's a line in there that says, resurrection power runs in my veins too. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is in us, and there's nothing dead that He can't bring back to life. There's nothing broken He can't make new. And that's how we need to see each other as well. Instead of seeing faults and brokenness, we see who God can make us, who He, in His goodness, can transform us to become. So if you've had a hard time with that right now, even seeing yourself, God says, love others as you love yourself. I struggle with loving myself a lot of times, even seeing myself the way that God sees me. Maybe that's you, and you just need to be reminded again, God, it's your goodness that makes me good. Because you're lovely, I'm loved. Because of what you've done, Jesus, I can stand in your goodness. So let's do that together. Let's stand and sing and worship Him together because He is so good. so good. You're so good to me. Behold the cross, age to age, and hour by hour. The dead are raised, the sinners sing the work of your power. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. I am blessed, I am called, I am healed, I am whole, I am saved in Jesus' name. Highly favored, anointed, filled with your power for the glory of Jesus' name. I am blessed, I am called, I am healed, I am whole, I am saved in Jesus' name. Highly favored, anointed, filled with your power for the glory of Jesus' name. And should this life bring suffering, Lord, I will remember what Calvary has bought for me, both now and forever. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. God, you're so
Have you ever noticed how brands you wear seem to say something about the type of person you are? Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure, but when I was in high school, that was exactly how it worked. For me, Abercrombie meant you were a preppy person. Hollister, maybe you were just a little bit more laid back. And Under Armour meant you were a sporty person. I don't know a lot of sports, but I'm assuming that's what it meant. Brands have always been something people use to express a little bit of who they are, or what they want people to think they are. They also tend to represent the group you are part of or you want to be a part of. For whatever reason, it seems like the brands we wear build the reputation we have. I'm not sure that clothes and accessories say everything about a person, but once you're rolling with a specific group and have a reputation, it can be hard to shake. But more than how the brands we wear contribute to what people think about us, our reputations are made out of all sorts of things and bring all kinds of assumptions about who we are. Just think about the various groups in your school and think about the assumptions that you have made about people who are part of them. Assumptions like, every rich kid is blank. All athletes are blank. The smart kids always blank. The cheerleaders are blank. The mathletes are blank. The kids who vape are blank. We often fill in the blanks about other people with our assumptions. Whether we know the person or not, it doesn't matter. We know their reputation, and to us, that says more than enough about them. And we may not know anything about this person other than the group that they are connected to. And yet, suddenly we feel like we know enough to make a snap judgment about them and write them off. So where do we get these assumptions from? Well, I think that they come from a lot of places, but 3 common ones stand out the most. First, experiences. We have experiences of what someone like them did or said to us, and we use those experiences to prejudge what this person is like. Second, limited perspective. If we know of something someone did or said that was wrong, we build an entire case about them being a bad person and take one thing that we don't like about them and make a judgment on everything about them. And third, insecurities. Sometimes our assumptions are formed from our own insecurities. The person that we're filling in the blank about has something that we want or wish we had. Maybe they have the starting position on the team, or the grade that we can't seem to achieve, or the house our family could never afford, and we just can't stand it. We automatically assume the worst about them because they remind us of how far we feel from being the best. Our personal experiences, limited perspective, and insecurities help shape the assumptions we make. They help fill in the blanks when we think about other people. And this can be a real problem if we really want to be known for love rather than hate. And if we're really honest with ourselves, filling in the blanks is sometimes another way to hate on people. Because often when we assume something based on our judgment, we don't fill the blank with something nice. We don't take the time to actually get to know the whole story of a person because we think that we have it all figured out. We don't give them a chance because we assume that our judgment is right. We make all sorts of assumptions about people we barely even know. Or we assume we know someone based on the group that they're a part of without even giving them a chance to show us who they really are. It's another way for us to hate on them without getting to know them. And the ironic part is that we would never want someone else to do this to us. So why do we so quickly do this to others? Why don't we slow down and challenge our assumptions? There's a moment from Jesus' life that may be able to help us. Jesus was in the middle of a tense encounter with some of the religious leaders in Israel at the time. These teachers of the law and Pharisees were a big deal in religious circles, and they had a brand of self-righteousness that they thought set them apart from everyone else. So when Jesus came around and started spending time with the people the religious leaders had branded as sinners, or people who weren't as close to God as they were, things got very tense. They actually started trying to catch Jesus off guard with questions that they hoped would prove that he was a phony. They wanted him to slip up and answer something in a way that took away his credibility and made him look bad. During one of these encounters, after some people had gathered to listen to Jesus teach in the temple, the religious leader caught a woman in an R-rated situation. So they dragged her in front of Jesus to see how he would react. So they dragged her in front of Jesus to see how he would handle the punishment. And I think that what happened here shows us a different way to live instead of filling in the blank about other people's reputation. Now check this out. As he was speaking, the teachers of the religious law and Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. They put her in front of the crowd. "Teacher," they said to Jesus, "this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say?" They were trying to trap him into saying something that they could use against him. Now, just to be clear about the awkwardness of this woman was caught in the sexual activity with someone other than her husband, or maybe even someone else's husband. And now she's on trial in front of Jesus. These guys wanted Jesus to condemn her to die. Now, I realize that this seems a bit extreme to us today, but the rules were pretty straightforward back then. If you behaved like her, then you get severe punishment. Now, these guys came to Jesus assuming they knew the rules and exactly how he was supposed to respond to this woman because of them. After all, God's Son should know and follow the same rules as the religious leaders, right? Well, let's take a look at what happens next and see for ourselves. But Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. Now, they kept demanding an answer. So he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. When the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until only Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" "No, Lord," she said. And Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more." What a moment. I am not sure we can fully understand the tension of this moment. These religious leaders who build their brand on appearing better than others and showcasing other sins are totally put in their place. So basically, Jesus was saying, you are quick to point out what everyone else is doing wrong, but what about you? Have you ever gotten it wrong? Then one by one, these leaders realized their plan backfired. Jesus kindly and lovingly releases this woman who is literally afraid for her life and tells her to go in freedom and to live her life differently. Can you imagine? Now, don't miss this. Everyone here was guilty of something, both the religious leaders and the woman. But Jesus didn't let this woman's guilt be the end of her story. He didn't let her mistake fill in the blanks for her life. Jesus challenged her to change by saying, "Go and sin no more." That was Jesus's brand, love. And it's exactly what you and I should be about too. But isn't it true that sometimes we are more on brand with the religious leaders? Don't we often fill in the blanks about other people based on their behavior one time? And maybe what they did was wrong, but maybe it was just something that we didn't like. And all of a sudden, we've decided that they are a certain way because of something we prefer or don't prefer. But Jesus' approach to this situation in the story teaches us something different. Everyone branded this woman as bad. Everyone judged her based on this one thing she had done. But Jesus saw her as more than this one thing. He didn't write a story about who she was because of what she had been caught doing. He didn't fill in the blank for her. He didn't see her with an assumption made about her or a judgment made about her. He saw her as a whole person. And as a whole person, he saw her as being deserving of another chance. Jesus proved that we are more than the assumptions and judgments of others. We are worthy of forgiveness, grace, and a second chance because of his love for us. And we can extend the same forgiveness, grace, and love to others too. What if this was the approach that you and I started to take when forming our opinions of other people? What if instead of filling in the blanks with assumptions and judgments, we chose to assume the best and judge everyone as people not just by their actions? What if we chose to see them as being worthy of love? What if we chose to let love fill in the blank? This will change a lot about the way we think about and treat other people, wouldn't it? Not only that, this will also change a lot about the way we think of ourselves too. We may wind up realizing that we are not as terrible as other people made us feel, or we are not as perfect as we may think. There is something both encouraging and humbling about Jesus' approach. It puts us all on the same level as people God loves and people Jesus died to forgive and set free, not just a sum total of all of our actions. In other words, when we're filling in the blanks with judgment or hate, we're only seeing part of a person, their actions, whatever they did that was wrong or something that we didn't like. But when we fill in the blanks with love, we are seeing others as humans, more than what they have or have not done. We are seeing them as individuals worthy of love, grace, and forgiveness. So when the opportunities for assumptions and judgments start flying at you, take these steps towards a new approach. Stop and think about how others have filled in the blanks about you. When you're in the process of filling in the blanks for someone else with something other than love, stop. Stop and think about your own life. Now, don't get down on your imperfections, but instead remember how much grace and love you've needed to be where you are today. Remember, Jesus' forgiveness brought you to a place where your life started to change for the better. Then, treat other people the way Jesus had treated you, with grace and love, assuming their best days can be ahead of them. Next, think about how you have wrongly filled in the blanks for someone else. Who is someone you think you know, but you really don't? Who have you filled in the blanks for in a negative way without even learning their whole story? What if instead of filling the blanks about him or her with assumptions, you fill in the blanks with what you do know? Then start to get in the habit of challenging your assumptions about others, because now you do know the way Jesus sees them, as someone deserving of love, grace, and kindness. What if you chose to fill in the blanks about them with Jesus' brand of compassion? What if you chose to let love fill in the blank? When we choose to follow Jesus' example and take these steps, we are choosing to let love fill in the blanks instead of our quick and shallow assumptions and judgments. Jesus' example shows us how to form healthy opinions of others by filling in the blanks about them with love, not hate, using grace and truth. Just imagine what would happen if this is how we spend our time forming opinions of those around us. Instead of assumptions, stereotypes, and preconceived notions based on one part of a person, every opinion we form about others will be all about how worth loving they are. In fact, even if you're new to church or still unsure about all this Christianity stuff, wouldn't you want to be around a brand of people who treated others this way? If this is really what Jesus is about, doesn't it cause you to be a little more interested in his brand? We can be people who let love fill in the blanks about others. When we do this, we will be people known for our love of others, just like Jesus was, just like Jesus intended his people to be.
It's already cold.
All right, everybody. As you guys know, this guy right here lost. I won the dad joke contest. So he gets the polar plunge into this nice big container of ice water. Drew, are you ready? Are you sure?
No.
See ya.
Oh, it's filling up the waders. Woo! Oh, it's in my feet now. Oh, okay. Hey, thanks for joining us this week, guys. What do we want to tell them?
Small groups.
It's high school year. Small groups are right after this. Don't miss out. It's one of the most important things we do is hang out together.
Middle school's on Sunday morning.
middle school, you're
10:15.
at 10:15 on Sunday morning is yours. Yowza! Hey, if you enjoyed this worship service, share it with your friends, share it on your social media accounts, all of that kind of stuff. The prayer guide is on our website so that you can be praying along with our whole church as we plan out and try to move through reopening the church slowly and carefully, but surely. You can see that link in the description below, as well as our Instagram accounts, which you will want to jump on and participate in the tournament that's going on in our stories. So I'm freezing, it's seeping down in between my toes slowly, which is making it worse. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining us tonight. Oh, I moved and that made it way colder in my feet. Woo! See you guys next week.
Make sure you stay tuned for that at the end of our services. We'll see you soon. Oh! What in the world? Tyler Worley!
It wasn't just me.
Holy cow! You threw yours on me too?
I don't think so.
Whatever, man.